Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something kind of different, but absolutely fascinating. We're going to take a look at a moment of just pure, unadulterated internet hype. But we aren't just going to watch it or listen to it, no. We're going to break it down hyper-analytically. We're basically treating a seemingly chaotic explosion of human emotion as a rigorous forensic data set. Because think about it, when human beings experience a sudden, massive spike in joy, the language we use strips away all its complexity. We regress to something totally primal. And decoding that primal language, well, it can actually teach us a lot about how our brains process victory.
All right, let's dive right into this. Listen to the raw data of this exact sequence. Yes, 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 yes. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so happy, bro. I'm so happy right now, bro. And, well, it just keeps going. Now, a casual observer might just hear a guy screaming, but as focused learners, we don't just hear noise. We're looking at a rigid data set of raw human emotion. It's literally a sequence of psychological dominoes falling over the course of just a few seconds.
To really dissect this psychology, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the late winner reaction, move into the anatomy of the hype, crunch the data of happiness, look at escalating to the divine, and finally wrap up with the language of victory. Let's get to it. Okay, part 1, the late winner reaction. Before we can analyze this absolute emotional explosion, we've got to establish the bare bones facts. And the catalyst is the exact scoreline of 2-1. That number represents Argentina's late game-winning goal against Switzerland in a massive soccer match. This single moment in time, the ball hitting the back of the net to break a tie at the very last second, is the inciting incident. It's the spark that ignites the entire psychological sequence we're about to study. For the sake of rigorous documentation, our subject for this study is the highly energetic internet creator known as iShowSpeed, and this transcript is sourced directly from a reaction clip uploaded by Speedy Boykins. We're treating this metadata exactly like a citation in a peer-reviewed journal. The subject was observing the 2-1 event, and this video captured his real-time cognitive processing of that exact moment. Moving right along to part 2, anatomy of the hype. Let's see how this builds.
If we actually map the chronological progression, we see that all this chaotic screaming isn't random at all. It's divided into distinct sequential units of time that track a perfectly logical escalation of joy. Phase 1 is the immediate involuntary yes barrage. Phase 2 transitions into the let's go action phase. Phase 3 is the internal I'm so happy realization. And finally, phase 4 is the oh my god climax. It is literally a perfectly structured 4-act play of pure hype.
15. The subject drops the word yes exactly 15 times throughout this tiny transcript. When your brain experiences a sudden shock of euphoria, it just doesn't have time to compose complex sentences. It needs an anchor. The subject uses this intense repetition of the simplest affirmative word in the English language to ground himself in reality. His brain is essentially buffering, and yes is the loading screen.
So, let's shift gears to part 3, the data of happiness.
Now, what's really interesting here is when we look at a purely quantitative analysis, the distribution reveals something super fascinating. That baseline affirmative, yes, heavily dominates the subject's cognitive load, making up a massive chunk at 15 uses. Following that is the phrase I'm so happy at 8 times, then bro at 6 times, let's go at 5, and finally oh my god at 3. The vocabulary completely shrinks, but the frequency tells the whole story of what matters most in that exact second.
By isolating just 2 specific phrases, we uncover something incredible about the timeline of excitement. Let's go is used 5 times, and it's entirely front-loaded early in the transcript. It represents pure outward kinetic energy. Oh my god, used 3 times, arrives only at the very end. The early kinetic energy essentially burns off, leaving behind a less frequent but emotionally way heavier state of pure awe. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates a profound internal psychological shift. Think about it. First, we have the action-oriented let's go. The subject is projecting all his hype outward into the room. But then, as the reality sets in, he shifts to I'm so happy right now, which is entirely emotion-oriented. The subject is transitioning from projecting energy outward to internally processing his own emotional state. He goes from being a participant in the hype to a witness of his own joy.
Which brings us to part 4, escalating to the divine.
As we move into the later stages of the transcript, pay close attention to the sudden introduction of the word bro. It gives used 6 times in the back half.
At first, the subject is just yelling yes to himself, reacting entirely alone. But joy, in its purest form, demands an audience. The sudden, repeated injection of bro shows the subject's urgent, almost desperate need to share his internal joy with an external witness. He can no longer contain the 2-1 victory by himself. He absolutely needs community.
But this raises a highly analytical question for us. Once you've affirmed the event with yes, expelled your physical energy with let's go, identified your emotional state with I'm so happy, and reached out to your fellow man with bro, where does the emotion go when happiness reaches its absolute peak? When you completely run out of earthly vocabulary, what is left?
Well, you appeal to a higher power. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. When the earthly phrases completely fail to capture the sheer magnitude of a 2-1 victory, the subject instinctively looks upward. It is the linguistic equivalent of throwing your hands in the air. It's a total surrender to the hype.
Finally, Part 5, the language of victory. Let's synthesize everything we've found.
So, what does this dense 15-second block of text actually teach us? The crucial point is that human excitement seems to follow a rigidly structured blueprint. We've identified the exact steps that dictate how a streamer, and really any of us, processes a last-minute soccer goal. Step 1 is immediate affirmation, confirming the reality with yes. Step 2 is kinetic mobilization, releasing physical energy with let's go. Step 3 is state validation, checking in with oneself with I'm so happy. And finally, step 4 is spiritual surrender, the ultimate awe of oh my God.
If we're looking for the absolute key takeaways from this explainer, here's exactly what the data tells us. Number 1, repetition functions as a psychological anchor for shock. It keeps you grounded. Number 2, modifiers like right now, which the subject uses twice, force the brain to stay firmly in the present moment, completely refusing to look past the current joy. Number 3, contrary to what you might think, vocabulary shrinks as emotional intensity peaks, complexity totally gives way to primal efficiency. And number 4, pure joy forces a rapid transition from isolation to community. We instinctively need a bro to validate our happiness.
We've just taken 15 seconds of loud, completely unpolished internet hype and decoded some pretty profound linguistic truths hiding right there in plain sight. But I want to turn this analysis over to you. Think about the last time you experienced an absolute last-minute 2-1 victory in your own life. If we transcribed your most unfiltered moment of joy as a literal data set, what would your chart look like? Would you be a yes repeater, a let's go projector, or would you jump straight to appealing to the divine? It's definitely something to think about the next time you find yourself screaming at a screen. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep analyzing the world around you.